What's up, guys? Nolan King here at the Mohegan Sun Casino in Montville, Connecticut with another edition of the MMA Junkie Twitter Mailbag. You can see behind me the Mohegan Sun Tower, kind of what they're known for a little bit. This is where I hang out when I'm in the fight sphere. Just trying to give you guys, peel the curtain back a little bit, give you an insider look. But I appreciate everybody's questions this week. Keep them coming. I can't thank you guys enough. It makes my life a lot easier, but some really good ones this week, and let's not waste any more time babbling. Let's get into it. First question comes from Ayush Armeni, who wants to know, would a win for Tony Ferguson put him right back into title contention? If he loses, would this be the beginning of the end for him? This is a very important fight for Tony. The scenarios you laid out, one is a win, one is a loss. If he wins, I think that it does throw him right back into title contention, because look at it this way. If the champion remains the same person that it is right now, Khabib Nurmagomedov, if he does not relinquish his belt, the Ferguson fight will always be interesting to people. I think the fact that Ferguson lost against Gaethje, it doesn't really matter. People want to see that fight. They want history to go down without us having missed out on that time and time again. So that option's there. If Khabib vacates, there's a lot of fresh matchups. The only thing that would be preventing Tony from getting in the title contention would be if Gaethje somehow won the belt, won the vacant belt, or worked his way up and won. So with a win, sure, he's right in title contention. And to answer the second part of that question, if he loses, would it be the beginning of the end? I don't think so. I mean, we have short memories in MMA, right? So it's really hard to predict 2-3 fights down the line, not only what Tony Ferguson will look like, but also the division, who will beat who will knock off who. So I wouldn't say it's the beginning of the end, but it would be it would definitely be a step back, and Tony's getting up there in age, so he's got to get those wins. This is a very important fight for him, and I think a lot's riding. We'll see what happens on Saturday night. Second question, sticking with the theme of UFC 256, AJ's MMA Bets wants to know about the main event. Does Brandon Moreno have the best chance to defeat Deiveson Figueiredo out of all the current flyweight contenders, in your opinion? This is an interesting question. I feel like whenever we have a champion that's very dominant, not necessarily a champion that's wiped out a division, but a champion that just continues to win and win and win, the only evidence we see is that this guy's indestructible or pretty indestructible. And in Figueiredo's case, there are a lot of new matchups for him, so I think it's important to break down each one and not have that bias towards somebody that has gold. Now, with that being said, Figueiredo has definitely earned a lot of the respect, or all the respect, that he's gotten recently. Dominant fighter, a finisher, a guy that skills are premier. Moreno, I don't think he's as refined skills-wise as Figueiredo. I don't think he has as many weapons, but he does have some abilities that make himself a tricky matchup for a lot of fighters. He's able to put himself in kind of bad positions to get in good ones and capitalize on small mistakes. He's tough, he's durable, he's improving, he's young. So Moreno, could win. He's not out of the ballpark. I think it's a good matchup. But I will say, Manel Kape, I think, is the guy who is flying really under everybody's radar until this week. The Ryzen champion coming over to the UFC, weighing in as a backup fighter tomorrow, or it'll be today when you guys watch this video. He will have weighed in this morning. I think he's somebody to watch. I think he's had legitimate competition at a high level, coming over, jumping overseas. Guy that's not going to be fazed by a lot. He's got a great attitude. So I think that would be a phenomenal fight. I know he hasn't had a UFC fight, so it's kind of hard to gauge, but that would be my dark horse, and a guy that I think stylistically would be a fun one for the fans. And I think, who knows? He could beat Deiveson Figueiredo should they fight. Third and final question comes from Twitter user @Osango_Destiny. Who should Chandler's next opponent be after Saturday night? And should Max move up to lightweight after his second loss to Volkanovski? The second question I'll answer first. Max should not move up. He's fighting Calvin Kattar in January. It's going to be a great fight. And if he wins, who knows? He could be right there in the title picture. I know UFC President Dana White had thrown around potentially running Holloway versus Volkanovski back right away, but I think Kattar will be a nice little bonus on the resume to give Max a little push to get him another opportunity, should the UFC grant it to him. To answer your question about Michael Chandler, right? Let's circle back around to that. Who should his next opponent be after Saturday night? A lot of people probably look at this fight between Tony Ferguson and Charles Oliveira and think, if Tony Ferguson wins that fight, Michael Chandler is the fight to make. But I'm not so sure. I think a fight between Michael Chandler and Justin Gaethje should be the fight that is made next. I think that Chandler is ready to fight now. That's really what it comes down to. He's ready to be taking fights. He's building up, preparing to accept the fight. He's in kind of a half camp scenario right now. is what I'm hearing. So he's ready to fight. And if Tony gets hurt, beat up, whatever, it's going to make the quick turnaround difficult. So Justin Gaethje, I'm sure, is trying to get back in there. He's not that far away from a title shot should Khabib vacate his belt, or even if Khabib comes back, he's probably only going to fight maybe once more. So Gaethje is a win or two away from a title. Michael Chandler would get him to that opportunity. So that would be the matchup that I would make. If Tony comes out totally unscathed, ready to go and turn around in February or something, then sure, maybe we could talk about that fight. But right now, as far as I'm concerned, Michael Chandler needs an opponent right now, and that guy should be Justin Gaethje. Just want to thank you guys all once again for sending in your questions. They've all been great my whole duration of this year. Coming down here week after week after week. It's always nice to know that the pipeline's filling up on Twitter with questions, and I hope you guys bring the same energy for the rest of this year into next year. And till next week, stay tuned to MMA Junkie.